Urbek City Builder is a very niche game, but I think in many things it is even better than City Skylines 2. So let's build a city and take a look at it. This is the start menu. We go ahead, start a new game, and then already we have tons of options. Different map sizes, which apparently the larger you go makes it more difficult. So we start with everything default, difficulty 100%, generate a random city name, but there's so many more options like regions, trains, or different biomes. You can even go ahead and edit the map, but we're a beginner, so let's go ahead and click play. This is what we're greeted with. We can zoom out and take a look everywhere around. So we have a map, a big square with a bit of snow, a bit of desert, a lot of forest and a lot of green. I think down here is a great starting point. I've also only played the game once for a tiny bit, but in the beginning it works like any city builder. You start with roads, just like that. You may even build out a small grid, and then cars spawn on it automatically, so there's no outside connection. We can now zone housing, but for example, I can't fill this entire thing, it gets red, because we don't have enough resources, which we can see in the top right corner. So let's just build a 4x4 grid of houses. Interestingly enough, the tree here stays, so we would have to delete it and zone it again. Now we can take a look at the left. A house costs 50 work and 10 wood, and it produces work, and over time it consumes food, which makes a whole lot of sense. To build more, we would need wood. We can build a lumber camp under the industry tab. Since these houses will consume food, let's build up a food production, which we can do under field, and then just zone in a few fields down here. And just like that, we can also see that houses are slowly zoning in. And just in case you're wondering, there are way more options than what we can see right now, but they only unlock once we unlock those options. Next, to build more houses, we will need wood, which we can find under the industry tab with the lumber camp. And the nice thing is we don't even need to place it on a road. We can, but we don't have to. It just needs to be 3 squares distance to a road. I think that's a pretty cool feature. And now we have wood production. We're producing work, but we're still losing food. So let's build up a larger farm area down here and maybe even connect a road through it for future expansion. So now we're with everything in the green, and you can already see my favorite feature of the game, which is basically things upgrade automatically. So here you can see the roads. They're getting better from the default roads. And later we will see that these houses will upgrade to bigger houses and eventually even to skyscrapers, which is pretty amazing. So basically it feels like the citizens here have their own lives and do their own decisions, which I really like. So now, with all the resources that we're gathering, let's build up even more houses. And then these will require, of course, the wood that we're gathering. And the more houses we have, the more food we need to produce. So it's an ever-growing cycle of upgrading and improving. To make things more interesting, there are different paths we can go down. A path to wealth, a path of productivity, or a path of leisure. So depending on what decisions we now take, it will take us on another path of the city, unlocking different things. So it's not like in the first city you build, you can have everything there is in the game. But in the next city you build, you can make different decisions and have different outcomes. I might want to go down the path of wealth, which unlocks if buildings upgrade to a villa, which requires 800 population, but maybe if we reach some of these other things first, we might go for that. So for now, let's go for a higher wood production to be able to build more houses. And here's also the next thing. We can't build another lumber hut next to this one, since there needs to be a 5 radius to the closest one. And this already starts one strategy element of the game, which we will very soon see. It makes it very tactical what things we can build where and how many, because other buildings will unlock that need certain distances to certain other buildings and can't have certain buildings in their range, which makes it really interesting. We can also see it slowly becoming night. I will leave this on for a second and then turn off the day-night cycle, just to have a more consistent video. For now, we still have all the resources in the green and we have no more houses to zone in. So we need to expand, bring up a road here. We can even take a bridge and build it on this island. I really want to connect it fully through for now, so we have a lot of space for future expansion. And now let's get in more homes. We have a lot of possible areas to zone and they can build some very nice seafront property. Now it's night. This is actually one thing I don't like this view too much. but it's also because these houses don't really have electricity yet and such. I'll just choose daytime and we'll keep it at that. Now with that expansion, we're actually losing a lot of food, but we can also now build a farmhouse, which needs to have fields in its radius, but no other farmhouse. So for example, we can place one here. It produces food and it also increases the food stored, which is also really great. I'll build a second one. So if we're ever in the deficit, we're not losing food as fast and it gives us more safety. And now we can also see a lot more new things unlocked that we may soon be able to build. So many things are happening. Let's build a few more fields, increase the food production even more. And now we're already up to 300 population, but we need 800 to unlock the villa. So I'll just go ahead, zone more homes, and whenever we need, also zone more farmland. Now I have expanded the village a bunch, even up to this island. And if we click on one of these houses, we can now see we are ready to upgrade, but upgrading actually requires energy, which is something we don't have yet, but we can get energy from the lumberjack cabin, which needs to be built close to a lumber camp. So we could put it right here. Now we have a new resource tab, electricity, and we can see all these houses now consuming electricity or energy and upgrading. I really love this animation. I love then how things come together and create new buildings. That's really nice to see. And the interesting thing is these village houses, they require energy constantly for light. So they light up at night, which makes sense. And if we don't have enough electricity, such as right now, we have a deficit, they will revert and downgrade again. So what we need to do is build more lumberjack cabins to produce more electricity. Then these red points disappear and houses can continue upgrading. Now to go down the path of wealth, we need to build a villa, which we have reached the population requirements, but there need to be 25 or less residents in a certain radius. There need to be green areas and some space around it. Let's try I've never actually had a villa before, so let's try what happens if we just zone one house back here. It has enough space around it, I hope, if that will turn into a villa or not. So a house has been built here. Let's take a look at it. But actually the villa needs 2x2 spaces. So we need more homes to be zoned in here. And let's already continue this, trying to build more of these, which will hopefully at some point lead to the villas that we need once they decide to upgrade. Oh, there's a traffic accident or just disappeared, but somehow nothing is happening. Let's check again. To get a villa, we need 25 or less residents in a 4 radius. I think we checked that. We need green areas. That might be a park. So let's see if that changes anything. Oh yes. Okay, so we need a park close by, so it upgrades. Let's get in one more, that we have 4. This should zone in soon. And in the meantime, these are consuming a lot of food, so we need to increase production. And I'm gonna do that in the green areas back here. We now have even new buildings, the tenant farmer and the grand silo, which we can place down to produce even more food. That already puts us back positive. This is our entire city for now. We need one more villa up here. It just upgraded. And now we're going the path of wealth. There's a new car on the streets now. And let's check it out. Now we need 60 wealthy village houses next, which all have some other requirements, which we'll take a look at in a second. First, let's check out some of the other things we unlocked. For one, we now have sports facilities. We have a football pitch. Let's just put it down here next to the villas for now, and maybe even one in the city. Next, there's nightlife, a bar, but we can't unlock that yet because we don't have enough population. Then we already have built the parks to build the villas, but there's also a nice park now. Let's put one down as well. Next, there is a water mill, which needs to be built on a river. Let's make a tiny bit of space for it and put it here. It produces electricity, but it consumes wood, but I think it's a pretty nice building. Then we can build the neighborhood council. I'll just place it down here. I think the way I'm playing is technically not how you should play the game. I'm playing it like City Skylines 2, where I'm just placing down things because I can and because I have unlocked them. But technically, all these buildings have a purpose. So some building needs probably this council and a sports field somewhere close so it can upgrade. But I'm just going to place them down for now and worry about the upgrades later. Next, there is a landlord's house, which needs these tenant farmers close by, which itself needs farms close by. Let's get rid of some trees here and make that happen. This is now about strategizing. Let's see if I can make it work just like that. And now I can place a landlord's house right here in the middle, which again produces food, consumes work, and also stores more food. So we have a nice work area here now. And then there's a train station. Let's just build one for the fun of it. We'll probably need rails to connect with it. I'm not sure where the trains do connect with it. Probably on this side. I'm not sure if I can like turn this building. Let's try again. Let's build a train station. Let's delete some of the trees here. And then we can build a bridge, more rail lines, another bridge, and then yet another train station. And now maybe that works. I'll just continue drawing it. And we might have trains driving now. I'm not sure where they're going and what they're doing, but they exist. So now we've built a lot of the stuff that we can build. Let's go back and check what we need to achieve the next milestone. What we need are wealthy village houses. For that, the first thing we need is 1,300 population. Let's demolish this forest so we can build more houses. Just like that, we have more space and we can fill the entire thing with more housing. And now the great thing is the houses zone in and they will soon upgrade on their own, which brings in even more citizens. And even the lumberjack house just upgraded. So all the buildings, even the service buildings or the wood buildings that we place, can upgrade if we have the right infrastructure around it. I've now reached the required population. We're up to 1,400 and that just unlocked a lot of stuff and a lot of new icons down here like faith, like culture and even education. So now let's take a look. We need wealthy village houses. For that we need 15 or more residents in a 3 radius. We need food services and leisure. Leisure we get from parks and food services we get from the village bar. So I'm thinking if I place a village bar somewhere down here, maybe in this place, a lot of the houses here should upgrade. Maybe I even get in another park. Then if I take a look at this house, for example, I think technically it has everything to upgrade, but still it does not want to upgrade. Actually, the problem might be that the bar doesn't actually provide the food service I need, because if we take a look here, it requires food services. I don't know what gives that though. Let's take a look at it. We can click at this icon here and then look for food services. So there needs to be something like fish market, local market or something like that. It's not under faith, it's not under sports, it's not a bookshop, it's not the bar, it's nothing here in the parks, it's nothing under industry, nothing under education. Oh, it's here, landmarks, mini market, local market. Then let's just drop in a local market here and immediately things upgrade. Very nice to see. Let's take a look at it. Yes, so these are now wealthy village houses. We already have 40 of them now. That's great. Let's try to upgrade another square with those. So quick reminder, we need food and leisure. Let's try it right here. Maybe I'll demolish 2 houses, then get in a local market. That gives the food. And then if I put in the bar, that gives leisure. And that makes buildings upgrade to the wealthy village house. And we've unlocked milestone 2. That was a hard one to figure out, but we got there. And we can see our village is growing. We still have our villas out there. We have trains driving around and many more things unlocking. This is just an aspect of strategy that City Skylines 2 doesn't have. You just paint your city and things will just grow well. You don't have to think about placement. You don't have to think about upgrades. I think this is a very interesting concept that I'd love to see some of it incorporated into City Skylines 2. Let's take a look at the next milestone. We need wealthy suburb houses. I find it funny that all of these just unlock a new car. That's the benefit you get. For that, I require 4,000 population. And then I need food services, leisure, but 3 of it, and education. Most of it works in a 6 radius. So how about here everything's very cluttered up. Let's build up another big grid on the other side here. I'll just move through the street and now let's try to build up some grids, I'll delete all the nature around here. So we need food, leisure, and education. So let's build up food, leisure, even more leisure. And for education, we need more population, but we need population anyway. Let's build that out. And then we also require a lot more food. So let's throw in more farms to fill that demand. Do the same thing with the farmhouses. And I'll even build another landlord's house. And now we're running out of energy, so let's also provide another lumberjack cabin so all these buildings can upgrade. Now if we think about a 6 radius, we need another street here anyway, and then probably here. I built it out in a way that maybe all these houses in here should be able to upgrade to the highest level. Let's build it out. Now we have unlocked the population for education, but we need a new resource now, which looks like metal or something. And if we take a look at industry, there is an iron mine now, which needs iron deposits. And let's take a look if we find any. There are some here at the villas and then some up the street here. Let's put it down. We can even build a second one, but these might actually have pollution, which would not allow these buildings here to upgrade. We'll see what happens. But for now, we can go ahead and build a school, which is actually bigger than I expected. So let's put it here. And that immediately prompts tons of buildings to upgrade. And these all look very different. So this is an iron miner's home, which is probably that way because the iron mine is close. And these are suburb houses. And then there's still some wealthy village houses in between and a bunch of other things. But we don't yet have any wealthy suburb houses because for those we need a population of 4,000. So we really need to scale things up. But I think this grid gives us a very good baseline. So let's just double it in size and just build it out with homes. Most of them should probably upgrade quite far. And now with all that zoned in, we're of course losing food again. Let's just continue the street here where we build farms. And we can even make it with a silo, which itself produces a ton of food. Add in more farms. Just as a note, you can't build farms on like this winter area. Also not in the desert. Next, we need a lot of energy again, but also we have unlocked the coal mine, which I'll just build here where the farms are at. And then I'm building more water mills to increase the energy production. So now we already have tons of resources and we're still missing tons of citizens to reach the next milestone. But these houses here are upgrading quite well for now. Let's build out the next grid. But now we also for sure need more services again. So leisure and then also another mini market that again brings houses to upgrade. We can zone even more and I'll add another school and slowly we're filling up the entire grid again, just like that. And we can see houses are upgrading fast, even more iron miner houses. They're even producing iron themselves, which is pretty nice. And then we're back to the same game. More food and more energy is required. So more bridges across the river. And I've built out more farmhouses, another silo. So a lot of food production that we can get in here. Plus more energy. Currently we need a whole lot of it. I hope there will soon be a better way than water mills. But nevertheless, things are going well. Just wood production is kind of slow, but we can always increase that. Just build a bunch more of these huts. And now if we take a look back at the city, we're already up to 3,500 inhabitants. For this milestone, we need 4,100. So far, this is actually the craziest expansion we've needed. But let's try to get that. Zone a bunch more houses. Wood currently is mostly the limiting factor. But if we're just waiting, things are being produced, so that's fine. More and more people are moving in. And just like that, we've hit the required population, which triggers upgrades. Here we have the wealthy suburb house. We now have 50 of them. We need 80, but they're not upgrading anymore because we need more food. Let's get more food then, just zoned in wherever we can. And just like that, we've reached the next milestone. Let's just facilitate all the food for now for these houses to upgrade. But here actually I can't build food because of residence requirements of these villas, which I want to keep, but I can at least do fields. And then let's go down here to zone more farms, grain silo, and also landlord's house. So this is a really busy farming area covering a lot of things, and that should prompt the city to upgrade as far as it can. And now we have 4 squares with upgraded homes. These are still slowly upgrading. And of course we have another milestone, which requires an even higher population, unlocks another new car, and requires and unlocks tons of more new resources. But this is the gist of the game. And what I really like, you can also zoom in very, very far and check out so many details. I mean, there's people walking around. There's so many small things that are really beautiful. And we've also not looked at so many things that this game has to offer. For one, there are policies, which I don't know yet what they do. Then I found out with this house that we built here earlier, we can also set policies for certain areas. That's pretty nice. And overall, there's just so much more things to grow. And I don't even know what other icons will pop up down here and what other resources there are. I think all these things combined make this game really exciting, and it also makes different cities really look different, because remember, just in the beginning we could have gone down a fully other path, unlocking totally different things and focusing on other things entirely. Let me know if you'd like to see another episode, if we should continue this city, or maybe even go down the industry path. Did you find any features in this game that you would like to have in City Skylines 2? Let me know in the comments. Thank you for watching, and happy gaming.